Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here, and here is today's housing market update. Home buyers in the US are the most pessimistic they've been in a decade thanks to high prices and a diminished supply of houses available for sale. It's challenging to be a home buyer right now given the fact that we have record low housing inventory and houses on average are selling for more than their asking price. Therefore, it wasn't a surprise that consumer sentiment towards buying a house reached the lowest levels in Fannie Mae's 10-year history of their Home Purchase Sentiment Index survey. The respondents of this survey cited that the lack of houses available for sale and high home prices are the primary reasons of their pessimism. The percentage of people who said now is a good time to buy a house actually decreased from 53% to 47%, while the percentage who said it's a bad time to buy increased from 40% to 48%. Doug Duncan, who's a senior vice president and chief economist at Fannie Mae, said the decrease of home buying sentiment likely indicates that some consumers potentially flush with savings may be attempting but failing to buy a home due to heightened competition for relatively few listed houses. The home buyers that are most pessimistic are those with incomes in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. This is because those respondents showed a particularly large decrease in overall housing sentiment given the fact that we have a shortage of houses that are more pronounced in the lower end range. This coincides with the most recent stats that we have from the National Association of Realtors. So compared to 1 year ago, there was a decrease of 15.3% of houses that sold for less than $100,000 in the US. And we also had a decrease of 10.2% for houses that sold in the $100,000 to $250,000 price range. This decrease of houses that sold for less than $250,000 makes a lot of sense given the fact that the median home price is much higher right now in the US. It's actually $329,000, which is an all-time high that was set in March of this year. Going back to this report from Fannie Mae, the respondents who said now is a good time to sell a house actually increased from 61% to 67%, which is nearly an all-time high. Due to historically low inventory, this is creating a very tough market for home buyers. And according to the recent report from the National Association of Realtors, they actually just posted this today. They said the most common reason why home buyers can't purchase a house is because they're getting outbid when they're placing offers. In this survey, they found that the difficulties in buying a house will likely lead to 25% of active buyers to give up until next year or later, and that's up from 16% from a year earlier. This marks the fifth year-over-year rise in this metric. Part of the challenge for home buyers right now, and not so much for home sellers, is the fact that home buyer demand continues to outpace the supply of houses available for sale. The National Association of Realtors posted for the last 4 weeks ending May 2nd, new contracts rose 60% compared to 1 year ago, while new listings only rose 48%. This imbalance between contract signings and new listings is causing home prices to increase further. Based on initial data from approximately 200 multiple listing services, the median existing home sale price for the 4 weeks period ending May 2nd increased 15% from 1 year ago. And because demand is so high, houses continue to sell very fast on average. So homes typically sold within 18 days compared to 30 days at about the same time period 1 year ago. In mortgage interest rate news, according to the Mortgage News Daily, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is currently 3.03%. The last time rates were this low was in mid-February, and mortgage rates have been decreasing for the last 6 weeks. As I mentioned on the channel several times, home prices have been soaring, and this is causing an affordability issue. So home prices in March increased by 17.2% compared to a year ago, and that annual pace was an all-time high. So despite the fact that interest rates have been decreasing, home prices have increased, and that is causing affordability to decrease. The National Association of Realtors estimates that for a typical home purchased in April, the typical estimated monthly mortgage payment with a 10% down payment is $1,295, and that is $155 more per month compared to 1 year ago. The rise of housing is also affecting renters negatively as well. 1 year ago, the median rent in the US was $1,033, but now it's $1,199 or $166 more per month. I also noticed that the US Census Bureau also released their data for the time period 2010 to 2020, and I found it very interesting how this correlates to home prices. For example, Utah, Idaho, Texas, North Dakota, and Nevada each had the largest increase in population over this 10-year period, with the population increase growing at least 15%. Not a big surprise here, but the fastest growing states experienced some of the strongest price appreciations as well. Single-family home prices increased by almost 13% in Salt Lake City, Utah, 27% in Boise, Idaho, 17% in Austin, 10.5% in Dallas, Texas, 8% in Fargo, North Dakota, and in Las Vegas, home prices surged 11%. Well played, Graham. Well played. All right, changing gears slightly, let's talk about new home construction numbers and which areas in the US may anticipate to have the strongest increases from new home developments. If you follow the channel, you know that I report new home construction numbers on a monthly basis once the US Census Bureau releases their data. In these summary reports that I go over on a monthly basis, it states stats overall in the US as well as each of the 4 major regions in the US. But those summaries from the US Census Bureau don't show details at the city level until now. For any home buyers right now looking to see an increase of housing inventory, here are the cities where you may expect to see the biggest increases of new homes. Here are the top 10 US metros that had the biggest increases of single-family building permits within the last 12 months. Those are Houston, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth, Phoenix, Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, Texas, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, Florida. The top 5 metros that had the highest growth rate of permits pulled over the last 12 months were San Angelo, Texas, Huntington, West Virginia, Provo, Utah, Clarksville, Tennessee, and Odessa, Texas. In addition, 4 out of the top 10 were located in Texas. Don't expect an immediate increase of houses available for sale in these areas because it takes approximately 10 to 12 months to build a single-family house. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing as well. I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our housing market. You also can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.